E ki ana te kōrero e ngā mate hikoia te whetū, hikoia te marama. Ka re ko te atai whaia ngā mate o te wā, hara mai haere. Tātou kei te ao marama ti he wa Māori ora a, nau mai, hoki mai, and welcome back to the Hui. Eczema remains a significant and often misunderstood condition that particularly affects young Māori and Pacific communities. With no single cause or clear-cut solution, it continues to challenge families, caregivers and health professionals alike, raising important questions about treatment, access and long-term care. Tonight, we take a closer look through the experience of one of our whānau of the Hui, our journalist D'Angelo Martin, and his tamaiti, Kahu Maiangi, who lives with severe atopic eczema. It's a story of sacrifice, resilience, and the reality many whānau face, offering insights and some hope for those walking a similar path.
The best feeling for a parent, the safe arrival of our pepi into Te Ao Marama. Kahu Maiangi, our second-born son, strong and healthy.
Those first 6 weeks, he looked completely fine and normal.
In my head, I have this perception that baby should have this beautiful, smooth skin.
And that was the case for Kahu, but it was short-lived.
Whenever I look back at the photos, at the time I would think, oh, this is so bad. But the further we get ahead, it just keeps getting worse. He does have patches on his face, but it's nowhere to the point that you would call it eczema.
Those patches on his face were just the beginning of a journey that my partner Hayley and I were totally unprepared for.
Obviously understood that he had eczema, but where to pivot in terms of a solution was quite frustrating.
We did take him to the doctors and the GPs multiple times, and they all say that he'll grow out of it. I did kind of believe them at the start. But by the time he was 3 months, when it get really, really, really bad, that's when I know that, oh, he might not grow out of it.
The next 4 months for our son Kahu and us were difficult.
I hate it when people say, have you tried this?
Managing severe eczema is not that simple. My baby's eczema robbed me of the motherhood I dream of.
Hayley was open about the overwhelming challenges with thousands of followers on social media.
I became so consumed that life around me blurred. I was losing weight, losing myself. All I wanted was for my baby to get better.
I sort of touch on how hard it is for me going through what we went through, but I haven't really asked you how hard it was for you when we were in the trenches.
Oh, hard. I definitely think it has to be one of the hardest times that I have ever had to pull through. I'm kind of a problem solver, and I don't like it when I can't fix things, and not being able to take the pain and the discomforts away. And trying so many things, seeking different opinions, trying everything.
She sought out online support groups for whānau dealing with eczema and found out we weren't alone.
I was in every single community group, eczema support groups, and whenever somebody says that, oh, this worked for my child, I would try it. I was willing to try anything underneath the sun to help him, but for a very long time, we didn't see any results.
Yeah, we didn't see him smile or laugh for like 9 months straight.
No, same.
He's only just started smiling and stuff now.
The infinity spider.
Eczema has also overwhelmed the lives of Te Whetū Marama and her son Kaharo.
Life's been really hard.
Yeah.
I've had to isolate myself to the whare. I'm too nervous to take him out for the people out there giving us eyes and judging us. It's hard to take a eczema baby out due to all the scratching in the environment, and they're most likely always hoha, so It's just best for us to stay home and keep him in his comfort environment.
It's not just unsightly, it's potentially life-threatening. When itchy skin is scratched, Staphylococcus bacteria may enter the bloodstream and cause serious infection.
These are all the products that we use.
Preventing it requires consistent, time-intensive care.
I alternate between these two sprays to help kill the staph and yeast and fungus. This one does fungus and yeast. This one's more of antibacterial. We'll wake up and I'll immediately spray him with the spray just to kill off any staph, moisturise him. I'll have to wash all the bedding. This is every day. I wash all the bedding and his clothes in very hot water so the staph dies. We always have to have a cloth between us and Bubba just so we're not spreading the infection.
So what is eczema and what causes it? We asked Dr. Paul Jarrett, who has spent 20 years as a dermatologist.
Eczema is a description of a skin disease. The skin is itchy and red and scaly, but interestingly, there are many different causes of it. So atopic eczema, which is the eczema that we're talking about today, is just one of many causes. The end result looks the same, but atopic eczema is very distinctive. And in New Zealand, we have a very high prevalence rate of it. And unfortunately, particularly in Pacifica and Maori. And it's a complex disease. It's not just one cause. Atopic is multifactorial, it's genetic, it's environmental. But we haven't been able to put that jigsaw puzzle together and clarify it exactly.
It is a well-known condition, so Hayley and I trusted that the health system and a medical plan would guide us through.
We actually went to see 3 GPs because we wasn't happy with the first and the second opinion. So I decided we'll book in with, the most experienced doctors there. And he was also saying the same thing. Oh, he'll grow out of it. Most baby with skin issue will grow out of it by the time they're 6 months.
Instead, Kahu's eczema became more severe.
That was breaking point. Those multiple visits back to the A&E.
When we took him to the hospital the first time, in my head I was like, this is the worst I've ever seen, like the most severe I've ever seen of him. And then not even 2 weeks after we got discharged the first time, we were back again, and that time was so much worse. I didn't even know how it could get that bad and severe so fast.
Despite the severity of our son's condition, the medical approach didn't change.
We realized that it's just the same thing, the same kind of treatment, rather than addressing what is causing it. Here's your steroids and try this moisturizing cream, rather than really look into and offer us an alternate solutions.
And it was the same story for Te Whetu Marama and her son Kaharu.
They kind of forced us to use steroids, but I was really stern that I wasn't going to use it. We were frowned upon for not listening to them. We had to put him on another dose of antibiotics. It seemed like that was the only thing that would help the staph go away. And then they said, your son is on the wrong antibiotic. He's taking an antibiotic for chest infections. And I was just appalled, My son could have died.
A lot of the whānau had negative experiences when coming into healthcare services, so they felt really dismissed. They felt not listened to.
Ebony Komene has witnessed firsthand the struggle of whānau whose tamariki have eczema.
Working in clinical practice, seeing whānau come in, they kept saying to me, I'm trying everything and nothing's working. And I was like, okay, let's take a deeper dive into this.
These concerns were the foundation for her research paper on eczema.
I have a brother that has eczema, and so I remember my mum fighting with my brother around putting the creams on, the bleeding and the haki-hakis that would come from skin infections, because eczema often leads to skin infections. When we're doing research as Māori, we often research on ourselves. There was nothing done in Aotearoa around whānau experience in particular. Caring for tamariki with eczema is really hard mahi. There's lots of routines involved. There can be a lot of sleep deprivation. There is intensive creaming. There's intensive washing. But then there's also the emotional aspects of caring for the tamariki. A lot of self-guilt, self-blame, feeling incompetent when their skin wouldn't improve. And when their child wasn't happy, they weren't happy, eh?
I get no sleep. He probably sleeps 2 hours at a time, if that. I get the mum guilt and then I fall back into being depressed, you know, because I blame myself for his skin. I've got eczema. So when I was pregnant, I kind of suspected he was going to have eczema from my genetics.
It took a toll on me. Having a child that's have this constant needs, even when I give him to you, he would cry because he would only want me. The only thing that would soothe him is when I'm holding him or breastfeeding him. I feel like I miss out on all that time with Kuaka, and that take a big toll on me because I feel guilty. I don't like favoritism, so I like to be, you know, a good mom to both of my kids.
Hayley and I had tried everything here in Aotearoa to heal our son.
I thought, oh, maybe we'll go down the Rongoa Māori route. And this was just suggestions and advice from other whānau that were
Dealing with eczema,
but showing concern as well for our situation. Went down that route, and that didn't work either. Went to go see a natural path, expensive as hell.
400 plus a session. But in my heart, I know that there has to be something that's causing it.
We felt we had no choice but to take extreme action to help our son.
E haere ake nei I tā tātou hui e te iwi. D'Angelo, Hayley and the whānau have to make a heartbreaking choice, but a sacrifice they are prepared to make for the health of their baby kahu maiangi. Nō reira, ke mautunu mai e ngā iwi. Nau hoki mai anō e taimā ki tā tātou hui. In part 2 of D'Angelo Martin's personal whānau story, ka toko ake te whakaaro, kia māwhiti atu tana hoa me a rāua tamariki ki tarawā hi rāno. With no improvement in Kahu's condition, the whānau faces the difficult decision about how and where they can best help their infant son.
Our son Kahu Maiangi has severe atopic eczema. After many attempts to heal him here in Aotearoa,
It did reach a point where we tried literally everything.
we made a difficult decision.
I was tired. We were just pretty much going to dead ends with anything we tried here. And yeah, I got to a point where I just said, nah, sweet. It's what probably is what's best.
Hayley and Kahu left Aotearoa for treatment overseas.
What if it might just be the thing that, you know, that works?
I need to give this a shot. I'm putting work, routines, and comforts on pause because that's what we do as mama.
The environment is an important factor. Although I know for certain that there are people with awful eczema overseas, perhaps the change is helpful.
Hayley was born in Vietnam and her parents are still in Hanoi.
We stayed with my parents. When we went, it was summer, so it was really humid, much warmer.
Kahu's eczema started to improve.
Nobody in Vietnam has carpets in their house. And in New Zealand, experts said dust mites can contribute to eczema, so that could be a reason too. I don't know for sure. And obviously, we used the cream that was given to us by the doctors in Vietnam.
In Vietnam, children under 3 years old get priority treatment.
When we get there, we went straight to get an allergy blood test where they draw his blood and then they test it against 52 allergens, which come back his allergics from very high in high to about 16 of them.
Guys, what I fear the most has happened. My half-Asian baby is allergic to rice.
So we cut that out of the diet.
Atopic eczema is not allergy. Allergy contributes to the rash in some people, but not every person. So you have to be very discerning about allergy tests.
What are the go-to protocols here in the health system when we're dealing with eczema?
The first treatment is to use creams correctly. People with eczema have often very dry skin, so putting a moisturiser on to make the skin behave more normally is very important. Using anti-inflammatory creams is very helpful to treat the redness and the itch.
If that treatment isn't the answer, then what do you suggest people do?
Steroids were invented in the 50s and they transformed people's lives. The use of topical steroids, if they're done carefully and correctly, they are very, very effective treatments.
As I learn more and more about eczema, I come to one realisation. What may work for some will not work for others.
I don't know what's not normal anymore. I kind of just had to accept that this is our life now. And the best thing I can do is show up as my best self for my son because he can feel the wairu of his parents. And if we are depressed and low, then he's going to be depressed and low.
The distress that this disease causes, not only to young children, adolescents and adults who get it, but also to their family and carers. The distress is palpable, and I think that needs to be acknowledged.
This distress is causing whānau to find solutions elsewhere.
Would you consider moving abroad?
Yeah, we have considered it. We are going to trial it. We're going to go over to a warmer climate to see if our skin heals. And if it does, we're probably going to move. Yeah.
In Vietnam, Kahu was healing and happy to be with his grandparents. So Hayley returned to be with Kuaka.
Can you believe this and this is the same baby? It's been 2 weeks now since I got back to New Zealand. No, I'm not hiding my son. He's actually back in Vietnam with my parents.
There will be people watching this that will cast judgment on our decision. Not that it's any of your business at the end of the day, but I mean, there's always going to be that one person that would be like, oh, how could you know?
Most of the people, they haven't been here for the health of the months that we've gone through. They haven't lived the experience. They wasn't here on all the night we didn't sleep. I didn't know what to eat for myself because I was breastfeeding. They weren't here when he's constantly itching, scratching, and you're physically having to hold his hand down for him not to scratch. I just want people to know that as most parents, and I think most parents will agree, that's every single decision that you make it in the best interest of your kids.
I'm glad we done what we done because now he's thriving.
He is.
And
he honestly is.
Some relief at last.
When you look at him now, he's always laughing, he's always on the go, he's moving around, he's chatting, smiling, exactly like how a baby's his age should be. This is the childhood that he, should have. This is the childhood that he deserves.
My son.
After months away, it was time to have Kahu back with us.
Oh, he's fast now.
He is. He's fast and he can stand firm too. See?
Aroha nui. Mummy and Daddy will see you very soon.
I'm really excited because he's coming home in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Bye-bye,
Kuna.
Susu.
I love you.
Bye-bye, love.
I actually haven't seen my son for 4 months now. Yeah, I just want to hug him.
My son was home and his eczema non-existent.
I feel whole. Got my 2 sons here and obviously a bit of a hard slog of these last 4 months not having him here, but I mean, if you look at the before photos of him and how he was in comparison to now, yeah, it was totally worth it, eh? So, just harikoa ana te ngākau and yeah.
Together again as a whānau. As for Te Whetū Marama and her son, they too have had a positive outcome. Now that Kaharo is 1.5 years, the worst of his eczema is behind him.
The biggest shift didn't come from a cream or a protocol. The real changes in my son's eczema didn't happen until I started looking after myself. My stress, my nervous system, and my wairua.
However, for Kahu, after just a month of being home, his eczema returned.
It's an awful disease, it's awful. Many people with atopic eczema, they will grow out of it, but they always have a tendency for eczema, and the trajectory is sometimes difficult to predict.
So where to from here? This is now my reality.
For the last, I guess, 6 or 7 years, I've known nothing but either a crying baby or someone coming up to me and giving me a hug, that being my kids, and yeah, I don't have that anymore. Coming home now, it's just empty. I just miss my kids being around, my partner being around. This thing, eczema, has totally flipped my world upside down, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. It's difficult, but my kids' safety and their health is obviously the #1 priority.
Hayley and the boys have gone back to Vietnam, this time for 2 years.
Kei te aha, son. Papa. Kua kai ke korua. What do you say to people who have just ran out of hope?
There is hope. There is hope. We're on the cusp of changes for severe atopic eczema. Around the world, there are very many interesting treatments available and a lot of science going into working out how to crack this problem for us all. So there's hope.
Nā D'Angelo Martin, te rā purongo, pāpai te arohane. Now, we can tell you that Kahu Maiangi is doing exceptionally well in Vietnam, and D'Angelo is there with Hayley, Kuaka and Kahu right now. Now, we will keep you updated on their progress throughout the year. Akaati, kei te tunu mai rai hoa mā, he kōrero anō kei tā tātou hui, ā tai hoa ake nei. kia ora mai anō e ngai iwi. Kei te whakarāpopo tō tangatātou o tātātou hui tuatai o te tau I aia nei nā. Yes, we are back, and we're happy to be back with you in 2026. It is, of course, a big year. It's also an election year, so we look forward to telling your stories with you and for you to Aotearoa and the world in 2026. A ka ati ake e hoa mā, kia ati tiro whakamua tātou, kia mā takitake ake tātou, I ngā hua ka puta pēr I tēnei tau.
Ritual rites of passage has been a part of human development since the beginning of time. I just see it as a need for the future generations to ensure that those rituals are provided for them.
The most pressing issue is here at our urupa. We have a massive slip just on the edge of our boundary. It's less than a metre away from our first door koiwi. We have a lot of mass graves here, and a lot of them unmarked. It's only certain people that know where they are exactly.
The person I loved, he was slowly leaving in front of me, and there was nothing I could do about it. It really crushes you to think that money is the thing that stands in the way of saving someone's life.
We've got whānau that have had to leave Wairoa because there's no facility here for them to be cared for. There's no acute care for our elderly, there's no dementia care for our elderly.
Over the 2+ decades I've been doing wine, no season has been the same.
We only have 50 harvests left globally in our soils because of global soil degradation.
It's good to be home. I had people messaging me going, you've got lots of love coming all the way from like London. Hey, I'm watching your story in New York.
Strangers?
Yeah, strangers. Their comments motivate me to get better. I use that to keep pushing forward.
We have the means and the ability to lead our people into the future. Division will only stifle that.
Gee, too much, eh? Nō reira, he tau nui tēnei tau, he tau roa tēnei tau. Nō runga pēr te tau, no te atua pēr te tau. Engari ko te hui tēnei, e tau nei tauha. We are back for 2026. If there are stories that you have within your whānau, please let us know. We want to tell your stories. So send them to us on the Hui at Great Southern TV. The Hui at greatsouthern.tv. Okay? Koe rā te karere hiko, hei whakapā mai kia mātou o te Hui. Thank you for joining us this week. And we look forward to bringing you more of Te Ao Māori next week. Until then, e ngai iwi, kia mau ki te tūranga o taputapu Aotea haumi e, hui e, taiki e. Nā te puna whakatongarewa, te hui I tautoko.
Kia ora, nau mai haere mai ki tēnei hōtaka. It's been a tumultuous couple of weeks for the coalition government. Enough for one former political leader to question whether the coalition will even make it to the November election. Lots of tit for tat. And right in the thick of it, New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters. I sat down with him last week. Oh, kia ora, Minister.
Kia ora.
You're riding high in the polls now. What do you put that down to?
We were out there in a long campaign that began in 2021 to ensure that a two-election campaign would happen for New Zealand first of all in 2023, and then in 2026, because we believe that so much was going wrong with our country, that the two old parties in the main had had decades and decades to get things right, and that this country was on sort of a knife's edge, so to say, or this would be what you might call an inflection election. We are on a mission, and it's working out for us in that context, but we've got a long way to go.
It looks like you're picking up votes from National. What do you think they're doing wrong?
Well, we don't focus on what other parties are doing wrong. We focus on what we've got to get right and ensure that we never forget that politics is about people. It's about local issues. It's about grassroots matters. It's about, above all, the people being the master here, not the servant, as so many politicians mistake the environment for. So we've stayed hard-tuned onto the basic issues: cost of living, cost of energy, cost of electricity, the cost of so many things that have just gone up, and the failure to grow our economy in the way we once did.
At the moment, it sounds like you're one of the great opposition leaders, but you're also in government. Is that how you see it? You're kind of coming out charging.
No, look, I can give you great examples of smart governments in the past, going all the way back to when Disraeli was the Prime Minister of the UK, or when, you had the New Deal in the United States, coming out of the Great Depression. And one of the fundamental things that both of them said was, we won't always get it right, but we'll keep on trying. See the difference? And that's what New Zealand First is saying.
You answered a question about the Prime Minister seeking a vote of confidence, and you answered it, I thought, in a very measured way. There was nothing controversial about your response, but it was kind of picked up and thrown around, and then all the gloves came off.
In my long career, and also my study of politics, which goes back centuries, in fact, that's what I've done in my past in terms of being a history student, I'd never seen that.
The Prime Minister calling for a vote of confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. So your response seemed to me
I just said, but it was plain and natural.
Yeah.
Why it should be such an item of controversy is beyond me.
Nicola Willis threw back at you as if to, what was the message that she was trying to say?
I'm an expert on what New Zealand First stands for and what New Zealand First and its leader believes in. But I don't waste my time on other people's comments. But I did find the whole thing controversy extraordinary.
Things got tense within the coalition government after Minister Peters' office released emails showing the Prime Minister initially wanted New Zealand to show explicit support for the US-Israeli war on Iran. Minutes after our interview finished, who should walk into whose office?
First of all, I heard that it was in his office.
He came to see you?
In my office.
In your office?
There was a chance for me to sneak in a pitch for an interview, once again. Apparently the Prime Minister then told his Foreign Minister off for allegedly putting politics before the national interest and undermining the coalition agreement. By week's end, Winston Peters admitted to a process failure.
I really make mistakes, but when I do, I acknowledge them.
There is a little bit of tension between you and Christopher Luxon. Do you think you could do another round with him?
A little bit of tension? For goodness sake. There's a population of New Zealand that's looking for recovery, looking for survival, looking to become a great country again. And of course you're going to have stress and tension. Well, too bad. But it doesn't mean that this is not a stable government. It just means we're making sure the issues are out there for all New Zealanders to know about. It's called open democracy. You got a problem with that? I don't.
Is it Chris Hipkins or Labour that you dislike?
It was the core central group in the Labour Party under Jacinda Ardern.
No, now.
No, then.
Heading now.
I was in government with them and they were hiding things from me, keeping things away from me. Even Willie Jackson had the audacity to say, well, if we'd have shown him, hey, poor, guess what he'd have done? I was the minister in charge of anything to do like that, and they withheld the information from me, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister.
You're acting like that here, poor was this dramatic secret document when it was just a set of guidelines.
Oh, bull dust.
No, it's
Oh,
true, you know that.
With the greatest respect, it was not. They'd spent a fortune on it.
It was.
Well, here you are carrying on here now, when they're teaching the stuff at Auckland University, Sociology Department, and all around the universities of this country. They're saying that tikanga is part of our law, and it's not. They're doing it all under your face, and you're trying to still excuse it, even though you're going to lose big time, because guess what? The ordinary Māori couldn't give a rat's derriere about they want the ordinary things like housing, safe for them, secure. They want health. They want health access. They want education to take their kids as far as they can go, and they want first world wages, and that's why New Zealand First is taking off.
Thank you. You've been at the cabinet table for the last 3 years, and why aren't things better for ordinary people?
Well, things are better for ordinary people because.
Really?
Well, can I finish off? You didn't need to throw in the really. What did your producer say it'd be a good idea to interrupt Winston Peters halfway through his sentence? My party never said we could fix it in 3 years flat. We knew this would take 3 terms to turn it around. And that's why we're slaving now to try and get realism back and common sense back in New Zealand politics. But where the one party uniquely said, this is going to take some serious time now.
Homelessness has doubled in Auckland.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, sorry.
Homelessness, and then you brought in these new laws to move people
the number of people that
criminalise them.
The number of people that were in certain homes has actually dropped by half in Auckland.
Unemployment is up.
Unemployment is the same figure forecast by Treasury before the 2023 election. They had long-range forecasts at the time. Am I right or wrong? The forecasts are the same.
Have Māori been hit the hardest?
Well, people at the bottom economically will always be hit the hardest. That's why we're the party, uniquely for the last 20 years, has stood for a decent minimum wage. That's why it's where it is now.
You know, you've been a wonderful champion for superannuation, keeping the age at 65. Kia ora for that. Given Māori die earlier than non-Māori, might you look at the system and address it to take into account that?
I'm from a family of 11 children. And until my brother, and sad for him, because we tried to get him to make sure he got his annualised cheque and he refused. If that hadn't happened, then all 11 of us would be alive today, which meant that in the 5 generations, the only people that died were mum and dad. It means that diet is important. We cannot help Māori and so many people in this country if this tsunami of obesity carries on. We are living proof of it.
Okay,
most of us are in our 80s and all working.
Yeah, and that's fabulous. So does that mean everything is perfect for all these other Māori out there? You've got to. There's a lot of experts out there who do research.
It means that you should stop and listen for a pause. Way back over 100 years ago, a man called Upper Ngata was saying that. 100 years ago, Ngata was talking about diet being critical. This man is a genius, but here we got all these modern ones who, rather than actually say, we'll pay attention to the fact that we've got chronic diseases, maybe diet is one of the reasons why we got it.
Why do you keep wheeling out the same kōrero? Because there are lots of experts, health experts, academics, people who spend their whole life delving into data and medicine, who look at socio-economic issues and can give the proper advice as to why they set up this strategy or this policy, and you just go back to Apirana Ngata and the diets.
No, I don't.
You do.
As a young politician, I was observing a country that was living longer than any other population by miles. They had the highest tobacco and cigarette intake by miles, and yet they were living longer. And there's a country called Japan. And I kind of figured out, well, maybe diet's really important. What's your explanation for Japan?
Like roll back tobacco control laws that were going to address the high baseline smoking statistics for Māori. You just got rid of that.
That is total balderdash.
It is not. You got rid of it.
You've fallen for their lies and propaganda.
Whose lies and propaganda?
Listen, why don't you listen for a while? Here we are, the most disparate country in terms of culture of the top 3 in the world for giving up on cigarette smoking. And we did it because of a party called New Zealand First, who set out on our pathway to become a world leader. We're in the top 3 now of giving up cigarettes. Don't you know that?
Don't you know that the gap between Māori smokers and everybody else is still huge? And that's what those policies were designed to address.
No.
Don't you know that?
It is true. There's still a gap between Māori and European.
A big fat gap.
But the number of people Māori who've given up is dramatic. And the number of people who've given up cigarette smoking in this country, in the Māori world, is much higher than in Australia, where smoking is banned. And they've got a massive black market now. And smoking's rampant there.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
No. See, don't goodness gracious. I'm giving you the facts against your bias.
Okay, hang in there. Round 2 after the break. You know, it just feels like you've been in Cabinet for a long time in this last period, and you've been focusing on either just demolishing policy that's been brought in by the previous government, or focusing on things like the name New Zealand is in danger, the English language should be official. Those are not issues that resonate with the ordinary New
suck
Zealander.
on the gravy train teat suckers from the Maori party and other parties.
What
I'm
are you going on
not going to have
about?
your way anymore.
You're making big
Because
assumptions.
because I know you're upset because you can't stand being accused of what you are responsible for.
I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
Treaty Waitangi industry people are destroying Māoridom. You're doing nothing for Māoridom at all. And guess what? You're extracting all that should be spent on real Māori causes. Take, for example, Māori TV and Māori radio. If I'd have spent that money on Māori housing, every Māori family in this country would be housed now. But no, not you guys.
Well, you guys have done really good with your 48 houses.
You took all this money for a market that doesn't exist. And you tell me that you've got Māori in your Māori improvement in your sites. Oh, no, you haven't. I've watched all my career, and I started out and I've been involved in far more successful cases on the Māori side than any of you all put together. And that's the truth, isn't it?
I really don't know where you're going with this.
West Coast leases, Hikarangi, you name it.
Yes, I've heard about it. You've talked about that. You've talked
Biggest
about
land
that
case
previously.
at the time.
So,
beat the Labor Party in the Whangarei Council.
So,
but not you guys, got no regular
who's
performance.
you guys? You keep
the
going
ones
on
that
about you
keep on
guys.
putting on your stupid program and nobody wants to watch it anymore.
Well, you've been on it 4 times. It's not that bad, is it?
Yeah, that's why you got me on.
Jeepers.
Because out there, there's a smart audience and they know that there's a sea change happening. And they, according to polls, are wanting to be part of it.
No, there's a whole bunch of people that are going, oh, look, he's campaigning. But what has he done in the last 3 years?
Oh, this is quite amazing.
Okay, so let's go back to the treaty, because you see David Seymour brought in his treaty principles bill and everyone went up against it. You fought against it, but now you are quietly unpacking and reviewing and rewriting every clause that's in every piece of law. So how does that help the ordinary New Zealander?
Oh, for goodness sake, get with the program. You got somebody who says, I want to change the window in my house in Auckland, but first of all, I've got to consult with the local Māori whether that's okay or not.
No, you're going off on a tangent.
No, not a tangent. That is repeated thousands and thousands of times around this country. A gross waste of people's time. And you know, out there's ordinary Māori got 2 or 3 jobs and they know that they're being sucked in by their so-called spokespeople.
I know a lot of people that are concerned about fresh water.
Well, of course you're concerned. All you radicals are concerned. You're all concerned because we're going to turn the teat off. You're not going to get away with it any longer.
You're scratching around now.
No, I'm not scratching around.
You are.
No, we're going to stop your so-called
Who's you? What are you talking
industry,
about?
your Waitangi industry.
Oh, the Waitangi industry.
No, Ngata
So now you're having...
Ngata says there's 3 clauses. None of them are to do with principles. We want to get back to what it was meant to be, the law, not this make-work scheme where judges decide, forget about Parliament, we've got more authority than them, we'll just make the law ourselves.
Your own officials have said that that's going to make things very, very messy, what you're doing.
Well, of course they would, because they sit in Wellington living off the taxpayers' teat.
Oh,
they're not out there earning their own living like everybody else. Of course they're going to say that. The bureaucracy is some of the worst people involved in here. But guess what? We belong to democracy where the people speak and they'll do what they're told.
Waitangi Tribunal, you want to review the scope of that?
Of course. Where?
So are you going to review the Crown's response to previous recommendations? Because that would make sense.
Well, somebody can't review because they've written in stone, they're part of history.
No, you're going to review how many have been
But the Treaty of Waitangi, the Waitangi Tribunal is way outside of its responsibilities, way outside of its original purpose.
Did you know can only make recommendations?
No, the Labour Party passed a law when it was to do with certain assets, then their recommendations were mandatory to follow.
Very minimal.
Oh, so you concede you're wrong.
Very minimal.
Well, I don't know why you're arguing about it, because you're wrong.
But most of them is recommendations.
No, that's nonsense.
And the Crown ignores them.
No, that's nonsense.
No, it's true.
What happens here, they stagnate the process. It takes years to get things through.
That's because of the Crown, not Māori.
You can come along and have an argument.
I'm just talking about facts.
But it's not based on one legal or historical fact. That's the difference. I come with the authority of people that I have respect for, great Māori leadership, people who understood, including the people in my ancestry who signed the Treaty of Waitangi and weren't a pack of dummies and knew what they were doing. Not like you, trying to make out that they were innocent, didn't know what they were doing, and they were cheated. That's what you're saying.
Why you been...
So what we'll do now, these modern Māori, who wouldn't know a decent Māori if they've tripped over one, are going to rewrite the Māori dreams for the future.
The The last time we spoke, Minister, you were describing how challenging it was in your foreign minister role. We were talking about Gaza. You told me it was very complex, the issues that you were dealing with. It's still going on. There's still people being killed over there. Since then...
Yeah, but a peace has broken out, hasn't it?
There were children killed last week.
Yes, I know.
And in West Bank, it's shocking.
Yes, and I know, and people were being murdered and terrorised for decades before that as well. Peace has broken out largely in Gaza, and I'm pleased about that.
I don't believe that is a fact, Minister.
Oh, for goodness sake, it's not the place it was. It's far safer. It's far more peaceful now.
I would like to ask you why you condemned Iran's response but not the US action.
I don't know why you're asking. All I've ever said was, this is not an excuse, but this is an explanation. You've had 57 years of terrorism out of Iran. I've been all around the world. I was in Buenos Aires and they pointed out to me that they lost 88 people in an act of terrorism initiated out of Iran. I can show you all over the world where they were doing it. And sooner or later, some people in the world were going to say, enough's enough. I'm not excusing what is happening, I'm just giving an explanation. And I've kept my country, and how shall I say, in terms of judgment, I've kept our comment to ourselves. Because in the end, our hope is that peace breaks out in this long term.
You, in your last interview, talked about the importance of a rules-based order and international law. So why not call out allies when they conduct a shock military strike, when there's no imminent threat, and when they're actually at the negotiating table?
What I said was, if you were careful about my quote was, for the rule of law to prevail, it's like in the streets of New Zealand or in the neighbourhood all around the world, as internationally, the rule of law needs to be enforced. Otherwise, there is no rule of law. That's the paradigm difference I'm putting out to you.
I don't understand what that's got to do with not calling out the US and Israel for a military strike that many international legal experts are saying was illegal.
Because I said at the time there will be international legal experts over time who will examine that and they will declare whether the parties are guilty or not. But we were unqualified to make such a judgment at that time.
No, but you didn't have all the facts, but you went straight away to condemn Iran.
No, I didn't. I said it explains what's going on. It doesn't excuse it.
During his recent visit to Washington, Minister Peters put the case for American oil tankers to be sent to the Pacific to help ease soaring oil costs and fuel shortages in island nations. Does that look positive?
It still looks positive, and I can tell you now that we've got meetings happening in the United States within a matter of days on this very matter.
Difficult times for the National-led coalition. Just 7 months out from the election, and former Prime Minister Helen Clark reckons the coalition is eating itself. Then there's the New Zealand-India Free Trade Agreement, a much sought-after political trophy for Luxon. India insisted the text be kept secret until after the signing. And New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters is making no secret of his opposition to it. Will your opposition make any difference?
It depends whether the issue gets fully disclosed in this country. But, you know, we cannot afford 34 billion New Zealand dollars to go to India the next 15 years. The second thing is, why does India get total access free now to our markets and we've got to wait years for some of theirs? And then there are other things statements being made to do with their student rights to bring families with them to New Zealand that are unique to Indian students. And then you've got a Treaty of Waitangi clause in it. Why it's there is beyond me, and why the Indians would think it was of any merit to them is also beyond me, but there it is.
One of the good things, and you were a champion of it ages ago, is that the investor-state dispute mechanism is not in there. And I remember that you pushed for that around about the TPPA kind of time.
That's a great difference.
Yeah, that was good, That was really good.
But
it hasn't been
but we don't want disputes. What I'm trying to say to you is, how come the Indians have a totally different view to this free trade deal than we have? So let's take some time to find out what the true story is.
Well, you've been at the cabinet table all the way through. The text only just came out this week. How come you didn't push to have that released so that different groups and different entities could actually respond to it?
Sorry, I did, and I put it in writing.
What? When?
Back then.
When? No one's got to see the text until this week.
Excuse me, I've made that very, very clear. Don't worry, we have not been, this is not our first rodeo. I made it very clear what I was concerned about from the word go.
So did the cabinet just ignore you?
No, I'm for a free trade deal, but just like China, I'm for a proper deal. What happened in the case of China? Give you an example.
What happened in
the case of China? In the case of China, this is what I said at the time, this deal, it could be far better than this, and should be. But here we go on this one here, and this is not a good deal for New Zealand, because I can show you why.
Yeah, but why has your voice not made a difference at the cabinet table? Why haven't you been able to persuade your colleagues about the investment clause?
I think you're being slightly premature. We've got months to go yet.
What? The text only came out.
Yeah, but it's going to the select committee.
Oh, wow, and everyone's been given 5 minutes to actually say something.
No.
Yeah, and the minister has said this agreement will not change.
You're saying that in the end, Parliament on this matter is not paramount. I'm saying in the end, Parliament is, and there's still hope that we will see common sense.
Shane described a butter chicken tsunami.
And I don't care how much criticism we get. I am just never going to agree with a sort of butter chicken tsunami coming to New Zealand.
And I know that words matter to you. Would you like to condemn that statement?
Well, he's talking about why do we need all these chefs?
That's not chefs. It's not just chefs. There's IT
It includes
people.
a whole lot of chefs. It includes a whole lot of yoga teachers. It includes a whole lot of occupations that cause us to ask, why on earth do we need them?
Do you think that that's a good statement for a minister to make?
Well, he's talking about chefs. That's what he was talking about. Do we need any more?
That's very racist, that statement.
Oh, look, excuse me. I've heard Indians who've got a sense of humour say much more, not worse than that. They've got a sense of humour. The reality is that's what he was talking about. And as we point out to you that we don't need one more chef, you want to hear blatantly argue we do.
No, but you're acting like there's just squillions of Indians going to come over here when that's not true. There's a lot of handbrakes on the numbers and the kinds of people.
Oh, look, there's an old English expression, balderdash, and you're talking plain balderdash. The reality is that the students have got a right to bring their family with them.
No, they don't. They don't have a right to bring their families.
Well, if all of a sudden, you know more than Goyal. Goyal said they did.
Students don't have a right to bring their families.
Oh, look, this is just wasting my time.
You're
going to stand here when Goyal specifically pointed out the great advantage they had. And he said that. And you're telling me that they're Minister of Trade and I'm wrong on that matter.
Anyway, just for the record, one last time, could New Zealand first go with Labour?
No one gets to lie to me twice like they did.
So that's a no.
No one gets to backstab me, keep secrets from me and think they're going to get away with it. They're going to pay a massive cost for being deceitful.
So that's no.
I worked with Helen Clark, and for 3 years she kept her word, and so did I. I worked for Jim Boulder, same thing. I know how to deal with people when they can keep their word, but when they don't get forgiveness out of me. None of your parties on the hard left, the Pinkos and the Communists, not winning this time round, but a party called New Zealand First is going to make a significant difference to the history of New Zealand politics in a few months' time. That's the great news I've got for the New Maori people. Hang on, help's on its way.
Shall we sing a song? You are my sunshine.
No, they can do that themselves on election night.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Is that it? That's it?
I think that is it. I think that is it.
Jeez.
Jeepers, all right. But all credit to Winston Peters. Unlike the Prime Minister, he always fronts, even if he doesn't rate our show or the platform. Now, just a note, while there are some genuine concerns about the India FTA, it's not about the number of chefs. What is positive is the number of highly qualified nurses and teachers coming in to fill a severe skills shortage here, thankfully. OK, off for a cup of tea and a lie down. Poor Muddy. Black Pearl.
Ko te reo, te take.